Well, a lack of affordable housing is forcing more Americans to live out of their cars. A recent study found the number of people residing in their vehicles surged by 46% over the past year.
It begins with a quiet, ordinary night, empty streets, soft wind, a city that looks perfectly calm on the outside. But behind that silence, something is horribly wrong. Every few miles, you see the same strange sight. Parked cars with fogged-up windows, dim phone screens glowing inside, and people trying to sleep sitting upright in their seats. Not travelers, not tourists. These are working Americans, hiding in plain sight. They wake up before sunrise so no one sees them. They move from parking lot to parking lot like ghosts, trying to survive a life they never imagined. And what's coming next is even darker. Before we uncover the truth behind why thousands of people with jobs, even families, are now living inside their cars, make sure you subscribe, because what you're about to hear will change the way you look at America forever.
Man, one of the most humbling experiences is losing your apartment, bro. Like, if you ever lost an apartment or had to move out your apartment because you couldn't afford to pay your bills, bro, you know exactly what I'm talking about, bro. I'm talking about that's the worst feeling ever. Like, you instantly go from being comfortable every night to being in your own bed to, man, sleeping on somebody's couch, man, having to go back to your mama's house.
So I have a quick update, guys. Today the sheriffs came by and posted that I have until Friday to vacate the premises. So on my lunchtime, I'm going to go get some boxes. I also lost my wallet on Friday. I didn't notice.
The night begins in silence, the kind that feels heavy, like the world is holding its breath. A row of parked cars lines the edge of an old supermarket lot. The building is shut down, windows boarded, lights dead. Yet inside those cars, faint glows appear, phone screens, battery fans, small lights clipped to visors. People shift in their seats, trying to get comfortable on seats never meant to be beds. Their eyes are tired, their movements slow, and every sound they make is careful, cautious. These aren't strangers passing through. These are residents of the city, workers, parents, students, people who once lived in homes that now only exist in their memories. Morning approaches quietly. By the time the sun begins to rise, every car engine starts almost at the same moment. They leave fast, one by one, trying to disappear before anyone sees what their lives have become. Some head to their jobs, showering in gym bathrooms along the way. Others wait in gas station parking lots, brushing their teeth using bottled water. They rehearse excuses in their minds for co-workers who ask why they seem tired, but most people never notice. Poverty has many shapes, and this one hides in plain sight. Across the country, this way of living is becoming disturbingly common. People earning full-time wages are still unable to afford rent. Apartment prices climb, while paychecks stay the same. Even those who work 2 jobs can no longer keep up. It starts slowly, missing 1 rent payment, then 2. Then realizing that even the cheapest place in town demands more than half their income. When landlords ask for deposits that feel impossible and credit checks most people fail, the car becomes the only option left, not because they chose it, but because everything else closed its doors on them. Cities across the United States have responded with new laws that change everything. Sleeping outside has become illegal in many places. Police patrol parks and sidewalks, telling people to move along. threatening fines they cannot pay. Shelters overflow, turning away anyone who arrives too late. The streets become hostile, the concrete cold, the danger constant. Compared to that, a car feels like a shield, thin, cramped, suffocating, but safer than being exposed in the open. People living in cars begin following unwritten rules. 5 minutes per parking spot. Never stay in the same place twice. Keep the windows slightly open so they don't fog up too much. Park near other cars so you blend in. Keep your engine off to avoid suspicion. Don't draw attention. Learn which grocery stores won't complain, which vacant lots stay quiet, which neighborhoods call the police instantly. Every night becomes a calculation, a strategy, a question of survival.
So a lot of people are choosing the option of living in their cars simply because they cannot afford to pay rent. In North Carolina, the rent prices are pretty high, but they're not as high as some places that I have seen. People paying $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a one-bedroom? Where they do that at, friend? Because who in their right mind can afford that when wages just have not increased? So a lot of people are taking their cars, they're turning them into, their own little home. They're taking RVs, they're taking vans, and they're camping that way. Now, if you have a full-time job, I can see how you could save a significant amount of money by doing this. Now, of course, if you're not working, it would be a lot harder. But what the person needs is food, water, shelter, and protection. Your home, that becomes your car. Food, you can go to food banks. You may have a little bit of money coming in here and there. You use that for food, water is free, protection, whatever you have. So I can see why people do it, but I think that everybody should have a home to live in that's not their car.
Inside these cars, life continues in strange and painful ways. Parents, stories to their children, telling them everything will be temporary. Young employees prepare for work, smoothing their clothes in the rearview mirror, hoping no one notices the wrinkles. People store their belongings in plastic bins, carefully stacking them in the back seat as if trying to create a sense of order in a space that isn't a home. Meals come from dollar menus, microwaved noodles, cold food eaten in dim light. Sleep is broken, interrupted by footsteps outside or the fear of someone knocking on the window. The hardest part isn't the discomfort, it's the invisibility. People walking past have no idea that inside these cars are individuals who used to have apartments, furniture, neighbors, routines. Some once had savings. Some once dreamed of owning homes. Now they search for safe places to park and pray they make it through the night without trouble. They feel embarrassment, anger, confusion, and above all, a sense of falling into a hole that has no bottom. Despite everything, many still go to work each day. They wear uniforms, greet customers, fix engines, deliver food, serve tables, teach classes. No one sees where they slept the night before. No one imagines that after their shift ends, they will return to a parking lot instead of a living room. This hidden world grows quietly, expanding in the shadows of America's cities. It is a crisis no one wants to talk about, because talking about it means admitting something deeper is breaking, something that once held society together. As the months pass, more people join this invisible community. They park beside one another, silently acknowledging the truth they share. They are not drug addicts, criminals, or wanderers. They are workers. They are families. They are the new middle class, pushed out of their homes, priced out of their lives, holding on to the only shelter they still possess. And as night falls again, the same cars return to the same abandoned lots. Phones glow once more. Windows crack open. Seats recline. People breathe in the dark, hoping tomorrow will be different, even though every sign says the crisis is only beginning.
Here in New York City, one of the most expensive places in America to live, this man right here has made his home on the streets. He said he could no longer afford to pay rent. Here, the average rent is around $4,500 a month, while the minimum wage is $16 an hour. This man says, I no longer can afford to pay rent. He's literally moved all his belongings outside. He's out here sitting on a chair, relaxing. Has his seat, he has his blankets, his cushions from his couch, pallets. And he says he's living a great life now. He says, I have no overhead. I've never felt more free as he's living here on the streets in New York City. It's so expensive to live here. People are literally going homeless on the streets.
When you look at these quiet parking lots, these dimly lit car interiors, and the people trying to sleep inside them, it becomes impossible to pretend this is normal. This is not a story about homelessness. It's a story about a system slowly failing its own people. A story about workers who did everything right, followed every rule, and still ended up with nothing but a steering wheel for a pillow. These cars are not homes. They are symptoms. Signs of a country slipping into a future where survival replaces comfort, and hiding replaces living. If you've watched this far, then you already understand the truth. This crisis isn't just growing, it's becoming permanent. And the people living inside these cars are not strangers. They are your coworkers, your neighbors, the person standing behind you in line. They are invisible only because society chooses not to look at them. This is the point where the story usually ends. But for them, the night is just beginning. Again, another search for a safe place to park. Another morning, pretending everything is fine. Another day hoping someone notices before it's too late. If you want more stories like this, stories that reveal what's really happening behind the silence, make sure you subscribe, because the next chapter is even more unsettling than what you've just seen.